On 17th of April, dozens of Jewish scholars of the Holocaust and genocide, scholars of anti-Semitism, of Jewish history, of Palestine, Israel, defied the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. Watch their statements firsthand.
I'm here because I'm so outraged by the fact that claims for Jewish safety are used to assault the safety, freedom, and humanity of Palestinians and academic integrity and rigor.
The IHRA definition essentially says it's anti-Semitic to criticize Israel, that it's anti-Semitic to call for Palestinian rights, which of course is not true. This definition gives 11 examples of supposed anti-Semitism, but 7 of these examples are actually criticism of Israeli policies. So they're not examples of actual anti-Semitism. So the IHRA definition really is a misdefinition of anti-Semitism, and it's intended to silence activism for Palestinian rights.
The article goes on to maintain that the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism and the related legal measures adopted in several countries have been deployed mostly against left-wing and human rights groups, those supporting Palestinian rights and the boycott, divestment, and sanctions movement, sidelining the very real threat to Jews coming from right-wing white nationalist movements in Europe and the US, and I would add, Christian nationalists today.
IHRA is anti-intellectual because it renders any evidence that points to the Israeli regime as Jewish supremacist and racist as anti-Semitic. This anti-intellectualism makes it impossible to teach and research about Palestine-Israel.
This flawed definition tells us, for instance, that if we describe the killing of nearly 17,500 Palestinian children in Israel's genocide in Gaza so far, 17,500 children, we are spreading an anti-Semitic blood libel, rather than talking about a thoroughly documented truth.
The IHRA definition argues that denying the Jewish people the right of self-determination by claiming that the existence of the State of Israel is a racist endeavor. However, UN Resolution 3379 determines that Zionism is a form of racism and racial discrimination, signed November 10, 1975.
According to IHRA, any reference to Israel as racist and racializing is considered anti-Semitic.
Yet this definition has been adopted by over 1,000 governments, corporations, and organizations worldwide. Again, what's really important here is that focusing on the IHRA definition, it distracts people from actual anti-Semitism by white Christian nationalists.
It renders any criticism of Israeli policies as a form of anti-Semitism, making a mockery out of the actual real threat of anti-Semitism, which is only enhanced by conflating Israel with Jews.
We must oppose anti-Semitism, absolutely. And we know what its forms are, especially when escalated by Christian nationalist groups who claim to be protecting the Jews, as they do in Project Esther.
I declare today that there is no way to honestly participate in my academic field if the IHRA definition becomes university policies or US law.
As a professor of the history of the Holocaust and genocide studies, I recognize in Israel the same racist inclination that IHRA denies. I will violate IHRA, and I will teach it as a form of weaponization of anti-Semitism.
I grew up with 4 grandparents who had survived the Holocaust. I reject this shameful definition, this tool of state violence, this horrific distortion of Holocaust memory. And I am here today to violate the IHRA definition and to insist on speaking the truth about Israel's genocide in Gaza. Thank you.